This is the Algebra 1 Concept Quiz 3 retry assignment solutions to the worksheet. All right, so we're going to be just taking these phrases and sentences and translating them over to expressions, mathematical expressions, and or equations. All right, so here we go. Number 1, the product of negative 9 and x. Remember that product always means multiplication. So this would be negative 9 times x, or you could write negative 9x. Same thing. For that matter, I suppose you could just do this. Lots of different ways that could look, but it has to be multiplication. Number 2, difference. That's the key word there. Difference always means subtraction, and this specifically has to be y minus 11. Difference of y and 11. Number 3, sum means addition. So it says the sum of x and y. So we're adding two things. We're adding x and y, so x plus y. Next key word we come to is. Is pretty much always means equals. So equals 14. Number 4, the quotient. So quotient always means division. I tend to write quotient as a fraction. So the quotient of 13 and x, so that would be 13 over x. And then we see that word is again. That means equals 26. All right, moving on to number 5, 6, and 7. Number 5, the difference of 8 and x. So difference means subtraction, and we're going to be subtracting 8 minus x. Remember, the order matters when you are subtracting. So 8 minus x. Then we see this phrase right here, is at least. So if I'm telling you something that the lowest something could be, then really it could be bigger than that or equal to it. And so this would be 8 minus x is at least means greater than or equal to, and then 15. Number 6, product. Again means multiplication. Product of a, b, and c. So that would be a times b times c. And then this phrase here is at most. Well, if I'm telling you the most something could be, then it's likely going to be less than that or maybe equal to it. So this would be less than or equal to 11. And then number 7, 7 more than y. So more than means addition. So I'm going to write this as y plus 7. And we see that phrase again, is at least. So if I'm telling you the lowest something could be, that means it could be bigger than or equal to it. So greater than or equal to 19. All right, moving back up to the top of the page here for number 8. Number 8 says the sum of 3 and the product of 12 and x. Notice this is not a sentence anymore. There's no verb, and so there will be no relating symbol like an equal sign or a less than. Just says the sum of 3 and the product of 12 and x. All right, so we're adding, right? Sum means addition. And what two things we're going to be adding? We're going to be adding 3 plus a product. So I'm going to go 3 plus some product. Well, what am I adding together? Or excuse me, what am I multiplying together for the product there? 12 and x. So if you wanted to write this as 3 plus 12x, it would be okay. In fact, probably preferred. All right, number 9, the product of. So product means multiplication. So I'm going to be multiplying two things together. We're going to be multiplying 9 times a sum. So anytime you're adding 9 times, or excuse me, anytime you're multiplying 9 times a sum or 9 times a difference, parentheses are going to be needed. So I'm going to put parentheses in here. Multiplying 9 times a sum. The sum is the sum of y and 7. That's y plus 7. I see that word is again, means equals 8. And of course you could do a distributive property here, but all we're tasked with doing is translating. Number 10 says 7 less than. This sometimes is a real challenge. Sometimes people read that to be 7 is less than. That word is quite important. It's not there. And so 7 less than simply means we're going to be subtracting 7 from something. So I'm going to go ahead and put minus 7. And we're going to be subtracting 7 from a quotient. So I'll put a little fraction bar in there for my quotient. My quotient is with 6 and x. Keep going here, and I see that this 7 less than the quotient of 6 and x is at least. So if something is at least, that means it could be bigger than 13 or equal to it. So bigger than or greater than or equal to 13. Number 11 says x more than. So more than means addition, kind of like less than means you're going to be subtracting. More than means you're going to be adding. So I'm going to just put plus x, because I know I'm going to be adding x to something. I'm going to be adding x to a product. So product means multiplication, so I'll just put this times this. The two things I'm multiplying together would be 9 times y. And then it says is at most. If I'm telling you the most something could be, that means it should be less than or equal to. And it says is at most the sum, which means addition of x and 12. Certainly getting a little more complicated. All right, moving on to the final examples on this worksheet, 12, 13, and 14. Number 12 says the sum of x and y, so sum means addition. So I'm going to be adding x and y, so that would just be x plus y, is less than, so that would be simply an is less than. That word is quite important. If it wasn't there, it means something totally different. Is less than the difference of 9 and x. So difference means subtraction. Subtracting 9 minus x. Number 13. The quotient of, so quotient means division, so I'll put that in as a fraction. The quantity, so quantity always means parentheses, so I'll put parentheses here. The quotient of a quantity of x plus 8, so that would be x plus 8 and 7. So 7 is the second part of my quotient. Is at least means is greater than or equal to. 6. Once again, is at least means I'm telling you the lowest it could be. So the lowest this could be is 6. So that means that it is bigger than 6 or perhaps equal to it. Lastly, number 14. Sum means addition. So I'm going to be adding two things together. What am I going to be adding together? I'm going to be adding together a product. So I'm going to be multiplying two numbers together there. And a quotient. So I'm going to be adding together a product and a quotient. So put in a fraction there. So my product is going to be x times 9. My quotient is y over 7. So you could write that as 9x plus y over 7 if you chose. Hope that worked for you. Good luck on your retry quiz.